October 16, 1946. Nuremberg Prison. The gymnasium door slams shut. The wood rattles in its frame. The sound ricochets off the bare stone walls like a rifle shot. Inside, the air is stale, still, waiting. Boots march forward, steady, heavy, no hesitation. Each step lands with finality, a grim rhythm. One man leads the line. Others follow, shoulders hunched beneath invisible weight. They are the architects of a broken world. And this is the place where their stories end. The gymnasium is stripped bare. No flags. No banners. Only the gallows, rough-cut wood, stained from prior use. A platform. A trapdoor. A single, sagging rope. At the edge, the hangman waits. John C. Woods. American. His cap is crooked. His hands rest on his hips as if he's done this 100 times, and maybe he has. But today, his rope isn't quite right. The drop lengths, measured, but wrong. Not yet noticed. Not yet tested. The room holds its breath. The wooden beams above groan softly under the weight of the trapdoor's mechanism. A priest waits near the steps, his prayer book trembling slightly in his hands. He's seen executions before, but not like this. Not with men who shaped wars. Not with monsters wearing human faces. One of the condemned glances sideways. A bead of sweat snakes down his temple, catching the dim yellow light from a hanging bulb. His lips part as if to speak, but he swallows the words. No one here is listening for confessions. Outside, Nuremberg sleeps, unaware that history is cracking open within these stone walls. Inside, the line moves forward. The first man is called. There's no crowd. No roaring of justice. Just the hollow shuffle of boots and the soft creak of a noose being adjusted. But something is wrong. The rope is too long. The calculations are off. And soon, this isn't going to be quick. It isn't going to be clean. These will be hangings the world will never forget. And they've already begun. The gymnasium is a cage of silence. No spectators. No press. Only the hard eyes of American soldiers, the rustle of paperwork, the shuffling of condemned men being marched to the gallows, one by one. Outside this room, the Nuremberg Trials had roared like a storm. Inside this room, it's a quiet, mechanical end. Justice stripped of spectacle. The first man steps forward. Joachim von Ribbentrop. Hitler's foreign minister. A man who once dined with kings. Now reduced to the clumsy scrape of boots across splintered wood. He looks straight ahead, his face stiff, pale, but his breathing, quick, sharp, betrays him. The priest approaches, whispering low. Von Ribbentrop barely listens. His lips twitch. He's rehearsed these words. God protect Germany. God have mercy on my soul. The hangman adjusts the knot with a rough tug. The noose grazes von Ribbentrop's cheek. He flinches. Just for a heartbeat. The hood drops. The lever is pulled. The trapdoor slams open beneath his feet. But the fall isn't right. There's no clean snap. No sudden stillness. His body jerks, kicks, fighting for air that will never return. Seconds crawl by. 1, 2, 3. His face bulges. His legs shudder. The rope strains, groans. It should have been over. But it's not. Witnesses shift uncomfortably. The priest lowers his eyes. The soldiers clench their jaws. The condemned man dangles, swinging slightly, the creak of the rope the only sound in the suffocating silence. Death takes its time. Finally, it ends. But no one moves to comfort. No one speaks. The hangman resets the rope. Next, the officer commands. And the line shuffles forward. Wilhelm Keitel is called. Former field marshal. Supreme commander of the Wehrmacht. A man who once signed orders that bled continents dry. Now stripped of rank, stripped of medals, stripped of power. But his back is straight. His steps are sharp, almost military. He halts at the foot of the gallows and raises his hand in salute. I call on God to be merciful to the German people. More than 2 million soldiers died for Germany before me. I now follow my sons. The hood is drawn over his face. The noose is set. Another drop. Another failure. Keitel's body lurches, strangling. His legs kick wildly, his boots scuffing the platform. The priest whispers again. The soldiers stare, unmoving. The hangman clears his throat, already preparing for the next. There are 8 more to hang. And this is only the beginning. The line shuffles again. The gallows creak, the rope swings, the floorboards groan beneath the weight of the next man. Ernst Kaltenbrunner. A giant of a man. SS General. Chief of Rhine-Main Security. One of the architects of death camps, Gestapo terror, and midnight raids. His face is gaunt but sharp. His jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. He towers over the others. Thick neck. Heavy shoulders. But his steps, slow, dragging. The priest offers him a moment. Kaltenbrunner waves him off with a twitch of the wrist. No prayers. No forgiveness. His last words cut the air like broken glass. I have served my country as I could. I regret nothing. The noose bites his throat. The hood drops. The hangman pulls the lever. The trapdoor crashes open. The rope tightens, but the calculation is wrong again. Kaltenbrunner's body slams into the edge of the platform. His shoulders twist unnaturally as his weight snaps downward. There's a crack, not the neck, but bone slamming wood. His feet kick, scraping the air. His body jerks. His boots drum against nothing. The soldiers shift, their knuckles white on the rifle stocks. The priest's lips tighten, silent. Kaltenbrunner's struggle drags on, agonizing, ugly, slow. It takes far too long. But there's no pause. No time to reset. The next name is called. Alfred Rosenberg. The Nazi ideologue. The man whose poison pen gave the Third Reich its racial doctrine. He approaches the gallows stiffly, like a marionette. His eyes are glassy. His breathing shallow. I stand before you for my deeds. My fate is what it is. The rope loops around his neck, cutting against his collarbone. The hood falls. The lever slams down. His body plunges, twisting, jerking violently. Again, the rope is too long. Again, it does not end quickly. The soldiers stare straight ahead, locked in place. Some clench their jaws until their teeth ache. But the hangman presses on. Hans Frank. The butcher of Poland. Once Governor-General of occupied territories, now a gaunt figure clutching a rosary. Frank's voice cracks. I am thankful for the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. I pray for the souls of all who died. The hood covers his tear-soaked face. The trapdoor crashes open beneath him. And again, it happens. The jerking, the strangling, the slow dance of death. The rope pulls but doesn't snap the neck. It simply chokes the life out of him, inch by inch. The hangman resets the rope. The soldiers don't speak. The priest grips his Bible so tightly it crumples in his hand. The executions are not precise. They are not clean. They are botched. They are brutal. And the worst is still to come. The gallows groan beneath fresh weight. The hangman's gloves are damp now, slick with sweat, maybe something else. He wipes them on his trousers, but the tremble in his hands is harder to shake. Another name is called. Wilhelm Frick. Nazi Minister of the Interior. The man who signed Germany's oppressive racial laws. The man who designed the machinery of control. He steps forward, stiff-backed, his breathing shallow but controlled. His face is hollow, lips pressed into a single cold line. Long live eternal Germany, he says, his voice flat, unbending. The noose circles his neck. The lever slams down. The drop is brutal. His body swings violently, his knee slams the trapdoor's edge, twisting him sideways. Another miscalculation. His legs twitch. His chest heaves against the tightening rope. But it doesn't stop. Witnesses fidget. The soldiers' boots scrape against the floor as they shift, uncomfortable, trying not to look, but forced to watch. The hangman says nothing. He adjusts the next rope with quick, jerky movements. Julius Streicher. The mouthpiece of hate. Publisher of Der Stimme, the most venomous anti-Semitic propaganda ever inked onto paper. His entrance is different. He stumbles. His face is twisted, not in fear, but in snarling rage. His final words explode from his throat. Heil Hitler! The priest recoils. The soldiers stiffen. The hood is yanked over his head, fast, as if to smother his words. The lever is slammed. Streicher falls. The rope catches, but his body jerks erratically, violent, grotesque spasms. A gurgling scream echoes through the chamber. It cuts through the quiet like a bayonet. His cries pierce the stone walls, sharp and unrelenting. The soldiers freeze, caught between duty and horror. One presses his fist to his lips to suppress the rising bile. Streicher does not die quickly. He kicks. He twists. He fights the rope. Seconds stretch into forever. The hangman watches, motionless, as if this is routine. The priest's hands tremble. His prayer book shakes, the pages fluttering like dying wings. Finally, silence. But the room does not relax. The atmosphere thickens. The soldiers' uniforms feel too tight. Their boots too heavy. Their breathing too loud. The rope creaks once more, settling. The next man steps forward. Fritz Sauckel, the architect of forced labor. A man who enslaved millions for the Nazi war machine. His face is drained of all color. His steps falter. He glances at the gallows, then quickly looks away. I die innocent. I follow my fate. The hangman doesn't wait. The hood drops. The lever slams. Another misjudged fall. Another slow, agonizing death. The soldiers grind their boots into the floor, as if bracing for the next one. The executioner doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. The ropes will keep speaking for him. And they still have 2 men left to hang. The room is no longer quiet. It's suffocating. Heavy. The air chokes every breath. Boots scrape. Leather gloves squeak. The soldiers exchange tight, nervous glances, but their orders are clear. No one leaves. No one looks away. The hangman resets the rope, faster now, as if each death pushes him toward some invisible finish line. Alfred Jodl, Chief of Operations. A man whose pen carved the paths of armies across Europe. A strategist who once controlled life and death by the stroke of his signature. But here, on this wooden platform, there are no maps. No battalions. No power. Jodl steps forward with hollow dignity. He looks straight ahead, his voice steady. My greetings to you, my Germany. The noose closes around his neck, one last collar. The hood drops. The hangman pulls the lever with force. The body drops. The floorboards shudder. Again, the rope miscalculates. Again, the man doesn't die quickly. Jodl's legs jerk. His shoulders twist unnaturally. The rope grinds into his skin, but the end drags on. One soldier grips his rifle so hard his knuckles crack. Another blinks furiously, forcing his eyes to stay open. The priest's prayers stumble. His voice is soft, but it wavers now. He's losing his rhythm, losing his calm. The hangman resets the rope. The air feels like lead. Only one remains. Arthur Seyss, the Austrian Nazi, Reichskommissar of the Netherlands. Responsible for deportations, oppression, and death across occupied Europe. His walk is slow. His breathing shallow. When asked for his final words, he murmurs, barely audible. I hope that this execution is the last act of the tragedy of the Second World War, and that the lesson drawn from this world war will be peace and understanding among the nations. A strange, almost ironic plea for peace, spoken by a man who helped ignite the flames of war. The hangman ties the knot. The noose circles his neck, snug against the skin. The hood falls. The lever slams down. Seyss' body drops. But the rope betrays him, too. The length is wrong. His body twists. His chest heaves violently against the pull of the rope. His legs drum the empty air. The sound echoes across the room like a final, desperate plea. The soldiers are rigid statues now. Emotion trapped behind discipline. Their jaws locked, their eyes fixed. The priest whispers, but the prayers now sound like apologies. Seconds pass. And pass. And pass. Finally, the struggle stops. The creaking rope quiets. The hangman wipes his hands, but the sweat won't go. His gloves stick. His heartbeat pounds in his ears. The gymnasium smells of sweat, fear, and the weight of 10 deaths. But something is missing. A shadow that was supposed to be here. Hermann Goring. The most notorious of them all. Gone. Just hours before the hangings, he had outmaneuvered them one last time. The gallows now stands still. The ropes dangle, frayed at the knots, slick from the struggle. 10 bodies lie still, some peaceful, others twisted by the botched mechanics of their final drop. But not all justice was delivered. Hermann Goring, the most infamous of them all, cheated the rope. Just before midnight, mere hours before his scheduled execution, a guard found him slumped on his cot. His lips tinged blue. His fingers curled loosely around the glass vial. Cyanide. The final act of defiance. His own hand, his own terms. The news hit the guards like a rifle shot. The ropes had been measured. His name was on the list. His final step toward the gallows was supposed to be the climax of this grim parade. But Goring slipped through their fingers, one last time. A panic surged through the corridors that night. How did he get the capsule? Who helped him? The questions spiraled, but there was no time. The hangings had to continue. The executions couldn't stop for a dead man. His absence hangs over the gallows like a shadow. His escape haunts the soldiers, the executioner, the witnesses. 10 were executed. But the most prized spectacle, the grand villain, the one the world waited to see punished publicly, gone. It's a victory that feels incomplete. A sentence unfinished. The soldiers begin the final grim task. The bodies are cut down, laid side by side, stripped of insignia, rank, and identity. Flashbulbs crack. Photographers document the dead, proof for history, evidence for the world. But there's no pause. No silence for reflection. The order comes quickly. Burn them. Cremation begins before the dawn. The ashes, still smoldering, will be scattered, secretly, carelessly, thrown into the Isar River. No graves. No monuments. No place for pilgrims. The final erasure. The gallows are disassembled. The gymnasium floor is scrubbed. The soldiers walk out, their boots heavy with the weight of the night. The hangman, John C. Woods, packs his ropes. He leaves with blood on his gloves, sweat on his collar, and a dark smile that no one understands. He never expressed regret. Never explained the miscalculations. Never apologized for the botched drops. His simple words linger. They're dead, aren't they? And with that, the chapter slams shut. But the air feels unfinished. Goring's ghost lingers like smoke. The rope meant for him swings, empty. The gymnasium stands silent now. The gallows dismantled. The ropes packed away. Only faint scuff marks remain on the wooden floor, ghostly reminders of boots that dragged, twisted, or stood firm in their final seconds. Outside, the morning fog rolls across Nuremberg. Cold, wet, indifferent. The executions are over, but the weight of what happened here doesn't lift. It settles into the walls, into the grain of the wood, into the eyes of the men who watched it happen. For the guards, the hangman, the witnesses, it's over. For the world, it's only beginning. The photographs of the dead spread fast. The official report, clinical, precise, documents each fall, each pronouncement of death. But it cannot capture the tremble in the priest's hands, the tightness in the soldiers' throats, the crack of bones on the trapdoor. It cannot capture the way time slowed inside that room. But what the report does cement is this. Justice, flawed, clumsy, imperfect, was done. The Nuremberg executions stand as more than punishment. They are a brutal punctuation mark at the end of a war that devoured millions. There would be no martyrdom here. The Allies made certain of that. The bodies, cremated. The ashes, scattered in secret. No grave. No headstone. No place to kneel. No place to remember. The sentence was not just death, it was erasure. But the rope meant for Hermann Goring remained empty. His cyanide capsule still sparks questions. Some say it was a final triumph. Others, a coward's escape. Whatever it was, his absence is carved into history, a gaping hole in the final ledger. Even John C. Woods, the hangman, fades into legend. A man remembered less for his name, more for the mistakes. Misjudged drops. Prolonged deaths. Justice delivered with hands that shook, but never hesitated. Years later, the Nuremberg Trials would echo far beyond that wooden platform. They forged the backbone of international law, of the world's pursuit of crimes against humanity. They became the foundation for how the globe would reckon with future monsters. But for those who stood in that gymnasium, for those who heard the ropes creak, who smelled the sweat and the fear and the finality, history wasn't a chapter. It was a night, a sound, a weight they would carry long after the world turned its gaze elsewhere. And in that quiet room, with its scuffed wooden floor, the ropes may be gone. But the echoes still swing. The ropes may have stopped swinging, but history never stays silent. If you want to uncover the hidden truths, the untold battles, and the darkest chapters of World War II, this is just the beginning. Subscribe now. Join us as we march through the fog of war, peel back the layers of forgotten history, and stand where few dare to look. Because some stories refuse to die.